So here we're being asked to find the area of this circle, given that we know its radius is 5 centimeters. And we have a formula that connects... So here we're being asked to find the area of this circle, given that we know its radius. Remember, the radius is just the distance from the center of the circle through to one edge of the circle. So here we're being asked to find the area of a circle, given that we know its radius is 5 centimeters. Remember, the radius is just the distance from the center of the circle through to a point, any point on its circumference. Our distance here we're saying is 5. And we have a formula that connects the area to the radius, and it's that the area of a circle is equal to pi, which is a number, we'll come to that in a moment, pi multiplied by the radius squared. So radius squared, that's just a square of whatever that number happens to be. And pi is literally just a number. It's approximately 3.14. It's about 3.14. Actually, it's an interesting number. It goes on and on and on for all eternity. So it goes 3.14159, and then it just keeps going and going. But we'll approximate it for now. So it's roughly 3-ish. So now we've got this formula, all we need to do is put in the value for our radius, and then we can use that to calculate the value for our area. So if our radius is 5, what we're saying here is that the area will be pi multiplied by this 5 squared. And now this is just a calculation that we've got. We just need to work it out. We need to remember our order of operations, of course. So we've got a multiplication going on here, and then we've got this power, this squaring happening here. And if you remember your order of operations, we know that squaring powers come before multiplication. So we're going to do that first. And 5 squared, we should know, is 25. Now I've got this pi times 25, so about 3 multiplied by 25. That's all that means. It's just a number. So it'll be about 75-ish, about 3 times 25. But we can get a little more accurate an answer here by using our calculator. If you look, I've brought my calculator up here, and we can see on there there's actually, you should find a button that's marked as being pi. And so we can use that and get pi to a pretty good level of accuracy without having to spend a long time writing it out or just using only a small bit of it. So if I press that button now, that pi button, we can see that we've got a little bit more of pi coming up here, and still it keeps going on, but we've got a good level of accuracy for what we're doing now. So do pi multiplied by the 25 that we just worked out, hit equals, and there we have, as we said, because pi is about 3, that's about 75, so we've got our answer there of 78 point, and we'll round that to 54. So our area is 78.54. We just need to take a moment to think about our units. So we had our radius being calculated in centimeters. That was a length. Now we want our area, so our units are going to be centimeters squared. Just quickly taking a look at another example. Here, again, we want to calculate the area, but rather than being given the radius, we've been given the diameter. So the formula that we're working with, area equals pi r squared, connects the area to the radius. It doesn't connect it to the diameter. But fortunately, we know something about the diameter and the radius. We have a relationship for those two, because we know that Now let's just take a quick look at a second example. So here again we're being asked to find Now let's quickly take a look at a second example. Here again we're being asked to find the area of this circle, but rather than being given the radius this time, we've been given the diameter, which isn't in our formula. Our formula is area equals pi times the radius squared. Fortunately, however, we know that there is a relationship between the radius and the diameter, and it's this. The diameter, remember, if that's the center of our circle, the diameter goes from one point on the circumference all the way through the center and all the way out the other side to the opposite point on the circumference, which means, considering the radius is from the center to one point on the circumference, just the diameter is 2 radii. It's 2 lots of the radius. So our diameter is 2 times the radius, which means if we've got the diameter and we want our radius, then our radius is half of whatever the diameter is. So in this case, diameter of 12 divided by 2 will give us a radius of 6. Now that we've worked out our radius, we can just do exactly what we did before. We've got the area is pi times the radius squared. So that will be pi times what we've just worked out, 6 squared there. And again, we can do our calculation. So that will be pi times 6 squared is 36. And pi times 36 we can do on our calculator now. Pi times 36 will give us an answer of about 113 points. Let's round that up. So 113.10, we'll call that 113.10. Again, just stick our units on the end. Again, that will be centimeters squared there.